To episode 16 of the WBBL review. I am joined with Manchester Mystic star Sam Keltos. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
How are you? How's it been last few weeks?
Last few weeks, they've been tough. It's been a grind, but I'm focused on like the nice weather today. The weather's been so nice. So I'm really happy that uh yeah, we're getting some nicer weather now.
Yeah, it always helps situations, doesn't it? A nice bit of sunshine to a degree.
Yeah.
Today, then, I just want to go through your basketball journey, get to know you a bit better off the court, as well as your thoughts about on court this season. And we obviously have the all important quick fire questions at the end. So
Mhm.
let's start at the very beginning. Where are you from?
I'm from St. Catharines, Ontario. Uh Whenever people ask me, I always say Niagara Falls because that's more well known. But yeah, around that area.
Okay, so have you how often have you been to Niagara Falls? Is it something that's just like you do quite a lot, or it's just something you've done and then how close are you?
It's like a 10-minute drive from my house. So
Wow.
we go see Christmas lights. They have like a nice display there every Christmas. It's very touristy, so we only go here and there, but it's a very nice area too.
Cool. Right. So when did basketball become a thing in your life?
I started playing basketball when I was probably around 8 to 10 years old. Um, yeah, and the rest is kind of history. I don't think I stopped playing since then. But yeah, just growing up, continuing throughout elementary, high school, university, and now I'm here.
So what kind of got you into basketball then? Did you have a family member? Was it school? How did you get involved?
Both my parents played basketball growing up. They both played in university. So I guess they were my coaches growing up until I reached high school. So they were a big influence in my basketball career and journey.
When you were starting out 8 to 10 years old,
Mhm.
when did you first start playing competitive like team basketball?
I played travel basketball in, ooh, I can't remember a specific age, but I remember I played house league, is what we call it back home, house league basketball for maybe 4 years until we actually had like a travel team like I could try out for. So I played for our local St. Catharines Rebels uh, travel team. And then I turned to St. Catharines Jewel, which is a more competitive team for when you're in high school. Um, yeah, so I just kind of went from travel team to travel team. I switched some teams the older I got. Um, just trying to get notice. I was trying to get a Division 1 scholarship, and I just had to be on certain teams, or to just to get the visibility that I needed.
When did you have kind of make that decision that yeah, this is something I want to pursue as I go through my life? When was that decision to say like I'm pretty good, I need to get noticed?
Um, I think it was around grade 9 when so I was playing soccer or football. Sorry, soccer, Canadian.
Soccer.
Yeah, I was playing soccer and basketball in high school, and then it was just too much like scheduling wise, so I had to kind of decide, what path I wanted to be on. So I chose then, and I started playing for two basketball teams then. So I quit soccer. I was on two basketball teams and our high school team, and then I just stayed focused from then on.
Just going rewinding a little bit, you mentioned playing football there. Any other sports when you were younger? Did you kind of do the whole sporting experience, or was it just basketball with a little bit of football in as well?
Right. I played volleyball in high school, but those were the three main sports that I played. I didn't really branch out to anything else.
Hmm.
Yeah.
See, volleyball gets mentioned a lot when I do these interviews. It's just not really a thing over here. Obviously, universities play it, but
Uh-huh.
within schools and stuff, you tend not to play volleyball. So it's interesting that it's quite Is it quite big across in Canada, America?
It is very, very big. The university I was at, they're actually doing pretty well in for all of Canada right now. It's seen like the same as like basketball in university. Like it's just as competitive. So it's really good for, volleyball players. I have many friends that are on the volleyball team for the uni I was at. But yeah, it is definitely even in like PE classes back home, we
Mm.
played volleyball just as like one of the sports that we played.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned to you earlier that I'm doing my PGC for high school. Even high schools here, it's interesting. Netball is like the bigger sport than even basketball or volleyball, which is very interesting to me.
My daughter plays netball, and I'm trying to persuade her that basketball is the future.
It definitely is, yeah. But yeah, I think just cultural wise, netball might be a little bit easier.
Ooh.
I know. I just kind of gonna regret that maybe, but yeah,
I'll just hide that in the interview somewhere. Don't worry. No one will see that bit. So let's talk about you mentioned there about moving teams a bit to get noticed for college. Talk us through the process of getting to a college.
yeah. So I in my grade 11 year, I didn't really have as many offers as I wanted, so I switched to go play for Hamilton Transway, which was like they were like top of the league. So I transferred to that team for the year, and I actually did get more notice from some Division 1 schools, um, along with the help of I was using a recruiting, I guess, agency. Uh, I forget what it was called, but my parents mostly dealt with it because I was still young.
Mm.
But pretty much they take game film and highlights. They make reels for you. So like you use their services, they make the reels, and then they send it out to all the coaches that like you kind of are interested in, or like the areas that you're interested in. So that's kind of how that happened. And then yeah, we just waited until kind of people reached out, and eventually the school I ended up going to, St. Francis Brooklyn, in Brooklyn, New York, they reached out, and yeah, that's the school I chose.
So New York, obviously quite a long way away from Ontario.
Hmm.
How was that experience moving away from home?
First year was definitely tough. Definitely nervous, going. I'm living in a small town in St. Catharines, and I'm going to New York City. It was
Hmm.
definitely exciting, and great experience. Like just like the city life, it kind of always say it kind of changed me, even though if I didn't know in the time, like looking back, I'm like all these experiences just kind of like I'll never get that again. So I really appreciated and you know treasured kind of all the moments that I had there.
Yeah, did you say you were there for 3 years?
Yeah, I was there for 3 years. I had the same coach for two of them, and then we had a coaching change my third year. And we have this rule back home in Canada. If I finished my 4 years in the States, I couldn't go back home and play my fifth year at another school.
Okay.
Because in Canada, we have 5 years of eligibility, and in the States, you only have four. So if I used all four, I couldn't use the last one in Canada. So I figured I only use three. If I go home now, I can play two more um, back home, in my hometown. So I actually ended up deciding my third year to transfer back home to then go to the university right by my house.
So you
Hmm.
talk about the coaches there. Obviously, 2 years was one, and a coach, the third year was a different one, and then obviously when you moved, what's it like playing with different coaches? Because obviously everyone's going to have a different philosophy, a different way of doing
Yeah.
things. Do you find that a positive experience, a tricky experience?
Um, at first, definitely tricky. It definitely takes a lot to getting used to, what makes a coach angry, what they like to see you as a player, like what to do, what you're doing on the court and stuff. Um, but honestly, I just growing up, I tried to kind of fit in with what older players would do on the team. But now that I've gotten older, coming here and playing in Australia, just learning to, just know who you are as a player and bring, like they want you there for a reason, right? So whatever you're doing must be right. So just continue doing what I do best is what I've learned over the years. But it took many years to learn that.
What were you studying when you were at college?
Biological sciences.
Okay, and then that
Yes.
leads nicely into the PGCE. What
Yes, to
what
do.
what made you want to go into teaching?
My parents are both teachers, so just growing up, used to the lifestyle. We have summers off. I loved coaching and, teaching. You're working with kids all the time. So I was like, it's going to be a perfect fit.
All right, so moved back home to Canada, 2 years
Mhm.
there. What was your plans going into towards the end of those 2 years?
So the end of the 2 years was to play professionally somewhere, but I wasn't necessarily planning on staying there. I was actually back home for 3 years,
Okay.
um, because of the COVID year.
Oh, of course. Well, that's changed
Yeah,
everything, didn't
so
it?
I forgot about that year. But yeah, so the first year, normal year, we actually made it pretty far in um, with the team. We ended up winning OUAs, so like that's all of Ontario, and then we came second in all of Canada the first year I came back. And then the COVID year hit, which wasn't, I was planning on, that finishing my degree. I actually did end up finishing my science degree, but I still had a year of eligibility. So I came back another year and I was taking visual art classes just to play basketball
Okay.
for the last season. Um, and yeah, and even the end of my season was of the third year was kind of messed up a little bit due to COVID. We that end of that season we were undefeated, but I had signed a contract to go to Australia starting end of March and playoffs, and we should have been done playoffs and everything to do with my other season before I had to leave, but COVID pushed everything back. So my senior year, I actually missed seniors night, like our athletic banquet, finishing playoffs, like my team had to go to playoffs and the OUA tournament without me, which was really upsetting at the time, but I made that decision. I have to live with it. But yeah, so that ended up making me having to go to Australia and starting that season right away.
Yeah. Australia had a lot of COVID restrictions as well. Was that still in place when you moved across there?
They were actually all lifted
Okay.
and they did, like, nobody wore masks. It was amazing because I was living in a place where everyone had to wear masks
Yeah.
everywhere, and then to going there straight away to no masks, it was really nice.
Okay, so Australia, talk us through what team you played for and what that whole experience was like.
Yeah, so Australia, I was in Melbourne, so and I was playing with Western Port Steelers, which was a D1 team. So when my agent came to me with this contract, it was kind of just, uh, you know, kind of get my feet wet in the professional basketball side of things, which was really nice because the league there, they only practiced twice a week and we had games once a week on the weekends.
Okay.
So it was really nice. I kind of was just able to, because I was just finishing a season at my school, and then I came into here, kind of no break, just continuing playing basketball. Um, but yeah, it was nice. We did pretty well. We came fourth overall. But yeah, Australia it was so amazing. I had lots of time to we went on lots of walks. It was their winter time, so it wasn't like super warm weather, but it was still nice enough weather to go out on walks and just see everything.
Nicer than the UK winter.
Oh yes. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
obviously we mentioned the UK. Where did Manchester come into things?
So I ended up here. Well, I was debating between with my agent, but majority or mostly because of the school side of things, because I needed to do the PGC course. I was deciding between Leicester and MMU, so Manchester here.
Okay.
Um, and then yeah, I don't know what made me decide, but I decided to come here, Manchester. Uh, yeah, and then I actually flew home from Australia, had about maybe just under a month at home, and then I flew out here um, and started practicing, kind of right away. But it's been good so far. Definitely very different from Australia, home, any other place I've kind of been. But yeah, just different, learning lots of different life lessons here.
You've had quite a consistent run of basketball then. So if you left Canada straight to Australia, then Australia with only like nearly a month at home, straight into a season again. How have you found not having as many breaks within that period of time?
Um, it's definitely been a challenge. There has been times where I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. Like it's been a lot, but when it comes down to it, like I love basketball. I'll if I could play forever, I would. So the breaks aren't they're not they're just enough to keep me going through the next season. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, especially being here, I actually have less time now because I'm playing for the Bucks team and the WBBL, and I'm pretty much a full-time teacher. So
Yeah.
it's just so it's I've been the busiest I've ever been, I think, in all my career right now.
Let's talk about the WBBL side of things.
Hmm.
Obviously, a tough season for Manchester. What's it been like being inside that team? What is the morale like? How are you? I know I talked to Leah McDermott earlier this season, and she was
Hmm.
saying like just each game trying to improve each game. How do you find it?
So, I mean, it's no secret we haven't won a game this season, which is honestly would be tough on anybody who loves basketball. Like you're showing up to practice for a reason, you're playing in these games for a reason. It would be really nice, to have some wins. But I feel like it really attests to our character. We still show up, we still play hard, regardless
Yeah.
of, like the outcomes that we've had. And it's really interesting because sometimes like the final game scores, they don't resemble like how hard we played in the game. For example, like this past weekend in Newcastle, I think we lost by like it wasn't 20, I don't think, but like a lot, but we were winning by two at some point, and it was close majority of the game. So it's just I don't know what it is, but I feel like we're definitely making steps in the right direction, and we've had two very important players injured for a lot of this season, and they just came back this weekend. And honestly, just seeing what we were able to do when they were on the floor makes me very excited for what what's to come for us the rest of the season.
I mean, you have won a game. I mean, in the trophy, that must have been
Oh yeah,
that must have
right.
been a positive in amongst the season as well to finally get
Yeah.
that first win. And that I would say from the outside looking in, since that game, there has been a kind of an up in the form and the game against Oakland's obviously it was 2 points loss.
Hmm.
You mentioned the Newcastle game. I was there on Saturday night, and you definitely didn't play like a team who was 20 points down, say at the end. I do see that kind of upward trajectory of Manchester's form.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want it real bad. So like we are fighting every game that we play.
I mentioned
Mm.
that Essex Trophy weekend. What was your opinions on having that weekend for the league
For the
with all the teams there in that one
oh
venue across the 2 days?
yeah, I mean, because we got there early and we ended up staying overnight, so we watched a game before we actually played. So that was kind of cool to see, all the teams come to one venue for a weekend. And they did a great job. Essex, like their gym was really nice. They did a good job.
Right, let's move on to some questions about your teammates.
Okay.
So, can you let me know who was the funniest in the Manchester dressing room?
Oh my gosh, the funniest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to say Princess.
Okay.
Sometimes what she says is just hilarious. Or myself. I like to make some jokes.
Yeah, you allowed to say yourself. That's fine. Who is the best dressed in the dressing room? Who brings the
Best.
style?
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna say myself. I'm
Okay.
gonna say myself.
Flip side, who's the worst dressed?
Oh no. I don't know.
I'll get the
The worst.
popcorn out on who you're going to throw under the bus.
There's not even that many of us, so I can't even. Worst dress. Ah,
I'll let you
mm,
sit on the fence and not say anyone. If you don't want to offend anyone, that's
I don't
understandable.
want to offend. Yeah, I don't want to offend anyone.
What about music in the dressing room? Do you have your all individual music, or how does that work before games or practice? Do you listen to a lot of music together as a team?
Oh yes, I am a music person. If the music is not good, I will tell them to change it. Um, I'm not I'm not shy about that. I listen to music all the time. I definitely, yeah, I would say me. I would be playing music or Claire on the locker room.
What's your go-to songs pre-game?
Pre-game, a lot of rap. Um,
Okay.
this might be controversial, but I love Chris Brown. Any Chris Brown song
Okay.
or Drake. Yeah, Drake, Chris Brown, my go-tos.
Fair enough. Right, a few questions that we kind of get from people listening.
Okay.
What is the best thing about playing for Manchester?
The best thing I think would be just the girls and the team. Like we've really been through a lot and just I've gotten to know them so well in this like such a short period of time. So I definitely say the team culture is and like our friendship, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, another one. Had you been to the UK before you came to Manchester? And what kind of things do you want to do when you are over here?
I have not been here prior to arriving. Um, I think I just want to see, like, I've been to London, but I haven't done any like touristy things. I haven't seen anything much there. Um, yeah, just I haven't really seen much besides inside of basketball courts and schools.
I was gonna say if you're teaching, playing books, playing the WBBL, you probably don't have much time for anything else.
Yeah, I barely see outside some days. So,
I mentioned the books there. Obviously, it's quite different playing for two different teams.
yeah.
How have you found that?
So, the Bucks team were in not the Premier League, so Division 1. Um, it's kind of the opposite of WBBL. We win almost every game by 20.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's nice in that sense. I also kind of focus those games because it's not the level of basketball isn't as great. So I kind of use those games to work on maybe like individual skills like dribbling. Like I play like every position for the Bucks team. So
Okay.
I get to work on, passing, dribbling, shooting, every little thing that I couldn't do in the WBBL games. Like, yeah, just more kind of more game like practice, I
Okay.
guess. Yeah.
Right, let's move on to the quick fire questions. Chance for us to get to know you a little bit better off court and with a few on court questions thrown in as well. Let's start with
Okay.
your favorite Netflix series.
Ooh, Friends.
Oh, nice, nice.
Mhm.
Okay, tea or coffee?
Coffee.
What's your favorite jersey number and why?
Oh, number four,
Yeah.
because my mom was number 8 growing up and my dad was 44. So I took one of my dad's fours and half of my mom's. That's
Okay.
how yeah.
Like it, like it.
Mhm.
Oh, favorite Disney film?
Ooh, favorite Disney. I, growing up, I love Dumbo.
Have you seen the new one with the live action remake?
No, I have not
What?
because any live remade ones kind of freak me out. So I don't really, I don't watch those ones.
Fair
But yeah,
enough. What annoys you the most?
what annoys me when there's too much going on, like loud noises, and it's I don't like just maybe or like yeah, I guess loud noises. I like when it's not ringing in my ears.
Nice peace and quiet and
Yeah.
relaxation.
Hmm.
Pre-game routine. Do you have one? What's your best time to play a game? What you do each day, each game day?
Best time. I like either. So in university we had 6 p.m. games. Those were nice. I do like we have a lot of 3 p.m. games coming up, which I like because it's not too late in the evening.
Hmm.
Um, Pre-game routine, just make sure I have enough food. There's nothing specific.
Yeah.
I eat like I'm eating 2 hours before the game, an hour before the game. I eat like little snacks at halftime. So just making sure I'm fueled.
Okay, what's your best moment on court throughout your time in basketball? Your favorite moment?
Wow. That would have to be um I have two actually. That would have to be the day we won the OUA finals.
Okay.
So that game that game I couldn't tell you what I was thinking because I was so locked in. I forget most of it, but I actually ended up scoring 42 points.
Nice.
So that was like that game that day was just amazing. Like my whole family was there, the team was there, like just celebrating with everyone was amazing. And then the second one uh was in Australia and they actually forgot to film that one game. That was like the only
Yeah.
game they forgot to film. But we ended up winning in double overtime because I made like an alley-oop pass. Like I was at the elbow, I faked left and I kind of curled around, jumped up in the air and kind of like did like an alley-oop. My teammate passed it perfectly and
Mhm.
we ended up winning. So yeah, that would be the second one that sticks
Nice.
out. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, what is your favorite snack? You mentioned snacks at halftime. What is your favorite snack?
Well, maybe not to eat at halftime, but favorite snack is popcorn and
Nice.
any type of chocolate, like milk chocolate is my weakness. But at halftime I eat like little clementines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, which one basketball rule, like game rule, would you change or get rid of?
Ooh. See, this is hard because over here in this league, I have been fouling out in multiple games. I'm not sure why
On
or
Saturday
what.
just gone as well, wasn't it?
Yes, in the fourth, like I I and they called it an intentional, which I don't know why because I was going for the ball. Anyways, um, I would have to say, oh, I don't know, maybe like I keep my hands straight up most of the time, but as soon as you like put your hand down, they call it a
Okay.
foul. So maybe like that, like as long as you're not touching them, but like they'll literally say like if you're not touching them and your hands are up and you go like that with your hand, it's a foul. So that get that shit out of here.
Get that rule gone.
No more.
What is top of your bucket list?
Ooh. Top of my bucket list is to play and travel in as many countries as I can.
Nice. I like it.
Hmm.
Would you have pineapple on a pizza?
I would have pineapple on a pizza.
Correct answer. Who's your favorite basketball player of all time?
Oh, ooh. Um, Growing up, it was Chris Bosh.
Yeah.
He was actually number 4 on the Raptors when I was watching him. Um, but now, uh, I mean, as I gotten older, I would say Kobe Bryant, like just, yeah, I follow a lot of like Instagram videos of like him saying like motivational speeches and
Hmm,
stuff.
hmm.
So he's definitely has influenced me in these past couple of years.
Yeah. Do you
Hmm.
have a team that you follow from different leagues, or is it just basketball in general?
Basketball in general. I mean, Raptors, I guess, because my family, like my dad, and follows them back home. But
Mhm.
I'm just there to watch, I guess, whenever he has it on.
Okay, what would you say your main strength was as a basketball player?
Um, I guess my versatility, just because I'm 6'3" and I can shoot and I can pass and dribble pretty decently. So just um yeah, just being an all around good basketball player, I guess.
Okay, I've got one last question, but before I do, I just want to say a huge thank you for your time. I want to say good luck for the rest of the season. I'm sure that elusive league win won't be far
Mhm.
away. But I really appreciate you coming on and giving us a chance to get to know you better.
Yes, no, thank you so much for having me. This is definitely fun.
Okay, last question then.
Okay.
Well, it's not really a question. You need to finish this sentence. I love basketball because.
It brings people together and I just love the game. Yeah.
What a way to finish. Thank you so much. And I'll hopefully speak to you soon. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks so much.